Rico. Rico! Pay attention.
So this is some pretty important stuff that you guys should share because really it affects your security on your device, your phone, your computer, your tablet. So listen to this and share this. There's an Earn It Act that basically sounds just as nefarious as, well, the title says. And essentially it's telling corporations that they have to earn their right to use encryption by giving law enforcement a back door into your life, your security.
Why are only citizens allowed to vote?
It's a reward. What the Federation gives you for doing federal service.
So let's read this. A thing about writing a newsletter about technology and democracy during a global thing going around is that technology and democracy are no longer really at the forefront of everyone's attention, because everybody's so focused on everything else going along, which, it's a huge deal. What's going to happen? Where are we going to be? How many people are going to be affected? How's the economy going to recover? So forth and so forth. And we're not going to know the answers for weeks at the minimum, but, basically, it's going to be a while. But what we have going on right now is everybody's so focused over here that the tech companies are kind of under attack and we're not paying attention when we really should be. This is something that's going to allow them to get into your device anytime they so gosh darn well please. Well, let's see here. Here we go. The Earn It Act was introduced by Lindsey Graham, because of course it was, and Richard Blumenthal, because, yeah, why not? Along with Josh Hawley, don't know much about him, Dianne Feinstein, yeah. The premise of the bill is that technology companies have to earn Section 230 protections rather than being granted immunity by default, as the Communications Decency Act has provided for over 2 decades. Basically, you give us all the information. You let us get into all the information that you have on everybody that you have. Give us a back door to get in and look at everything. And then once that happens, then we will protect you from being held liable for the actions of people on your services.
What's the moral difference, if any, between a civilian and a citizen?
A citizen accepts personal responsibility for the safety of the body politic, defending it with his life. A civilian does not.
In other words, if someone makes a video on YouTube and it's somehow, I don't know, don't even know if I can say it. If it's bad, like really, really, really bad, if you know what I mean, in a certain way, and law enforcement wants to get all the information that they want, YouTube can either give them the information or they're held liable for everything, which is absurd. Now, for starters, it's not clear that companies have to earn what are already protections provided on the First Amendment to publish and to allow their users to publish with very few legal restrictions. But if the Earn It Act were passed, tech companies could be held liable if their users posted things not allowed content. This would represent a significant and potentially devastating amendment to Section 230, a much misunderstood law that many consider a pillar of the internet and the businesses that operate on top of it. And it is. It absolutely is, because it makes now a snowball where companies are going to be held liable for the actions of their customers unless they earn their right to not be held liable. And how do you earn your right to not be liable? Well, you give law enforcement all the information, and you give law enforcement a backdoor to be able to access that information at any point in time that they so choose.
Doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part too.
The law threatens any website owner with up to 10 years in prison for hosting even one instance of prostitution-related content. As a result, sites like Craigslist removed their entire online personal sections. Sex workers who had previously been working as their own bosses were driven back onto the streets, often forced to work for pimps. Prostitution-related crime in San Francisco alone, including violence against workers, more than tripled. Because, obviously it did. It's the oldest profession in the world, you're not going to stop it. Come on, if it's still going on and it has the word illegal strapped to it and it's still going on and it's widespread, then maybe we should get through our heads we're not going to stop it. Well, what can we do? Well, we can make it at least somewhat safer, at least somewhat better, regulate it, put it under the Department of Health. That way at least it's, testable. It's something that, can be regulated. It's something that is at least safer rather than on the black market. Meanwhile, evidence that the law reduced sex trafficking is suspiciously hard to come by, and there's little reason to believe that the Earn It Act will be a greater boon to public life. And it won't be. It won't be. It's going to be one of those things that is going to be abused. Yet for the reasons I.C. Lepowski lays out today in A Good Peace and Protocol, it may pass anyway. Once again, Congress has lined up some sympathetic witnesses who paint a picture that, because of their misfortune, whole swaths of the internet should be eliminated. Yes. Well, please, somebody think of the children.
Everyone's doing their part. Are you?
Anita Sarkeesian style. It's just, the internet's horrible because I get called bad names. Okay, all right. Tone it down. I get death threats, and I'm not even that big a YouTuber. I couldn't even imagine how, these huge YouTubers, how they deal with it. So, it's going to be my father. Oh, blessed telemarketers and advertisers and scammers. Jesus. Don't they know I'm filming? Let's see here. Yes. We all get called bad names on the internet. It would do that by setting up a Byzantine checklist structure that would handcuff companies to a difficult-to-modify set of procedures. One item on that checklist could be eliminating end-to-end encryption in messaging apps. That's important. End-to-end encryption on messaging apps, depriving the world of a secure communication tool at a time when authoritarian governments are surging around the world. No end-to-end encryption on apps, meaning they can be read, they can be opened, they can be used, they can be copied, they can be held for record, whatever. The Earn It Act would establish the National Commission on Online Child Sexual Exploitation Prevention. See, it's all under the thing of won't somebody think of the children. This is a good bill on the surface, but then when you dig into it, it has oversweeping measures. Pretty common in politics. A 19-member commission tasked with creating a set of best practices for online companies to abide by with regard to stopping child sexual abuse material. Those best practices would have to be approved by 14 members of the committee and submitted to the Attorney General, the Secretary of Homeland Security, and the Chairman of the Federal Trade Commission for final approval. That list would then need to be enacted by Congress. Companies would have to certify that they're following those best practices in order to retain their Section 230 immunity, like FOSTA, SESTA, before it. Losing that immunity would be a significant blow to companies with millions or billions of users posting content every day. Think Facebook, think Instagram, think YouTube, think any of them, any social media thing, lots of apps, anything. They would be held liable for whatever the users of that app do unless they have something that allows law enforcement to get in there and look into it. The bill's backers have not said definitively that they will demand a backdoor for law enforcement, but it is heavily implied, and whoever else can find it, as part of the Earn It Act. But nor have they written the bill to say they won't. And Graham, one of the bill's co-sponsors, left little doubt on where he stands, and here's what we're talking about. Facebook is talking about end-to-end encryption, which means they go blind, Senator Graham said, later adding, "We're not going to go blind and let this abuse go forward in the name of any other freedom." In other words, we are trading safety for freedom. Our fifis are winning and our freedom is losing. Well, good for our little fifis. We'll set up some safe spaces all over the place. It's going to be a booming business. I could see it now. I'll just go to college campuses around the United States and I'll manufacture and frame up just this quick little shed. I'll line it with empty milk cartons for cardboard. I'll throw some puppies in there that I find out on the street, maybe some stray cats, a couple birds, and I'll pump some elevator music in it, and I'll charge people $30 an hour to be in my little safe space. Yes. Where are we going? To protect our fifis. I understand law enforcement is saying that they want it to be able to help stem something that would be a good thing to help stem. This is where they get you, though. Okay, it sounds like a good thing, but the road to destruction is paved with good intentions. It is. We need to handle that in a different manner. We need to find a different way around it. We can't have just this blanket opening of literally everybody's information. That's not right. That's not cool. That's another little freedom that could be stripped away. I'm against it, for one. Share this. I'd like to know what everybody else thinks as well, but yeah, I'm against it. I don't want this Earn It Act. Even the title just sounds authoritarian. You want your freedom, you want your right, you gotta earn it. Citizenship, right? Citizenship? Alright, I love you guys. I'll see you on the next one.
Service guarantees citizenship.